Okay, I'm back again. So I I completed the moon spread cycle for today, or for this particular stage of the moon cycle. And what I got was really, really good, and it did give me a really good confidence boost. So if you haven't already seen that video, it'll be the one before this. But following that, I thought, I feel like I just need to kind of sounds a bit silly, but give a shout out to the spirit team that I have supporting me through this. So I kind of asked the cards, like, is there any other messages that you feel that I need to know for today? And just to bring them out in the cards. And so I ended up doing a 3 card pull because I had 2 cards sort of come out one after the other. So, I got my first card and then I went to shuffle again and got the next one, and then shuffled again and then got the next one. So I then kind of went, okay, situation, advice, outcome. And so what I picked up on, this was, for me, I just took notes on what I felt from the cards, and then I went back and just checked what the card actually represented. I didn't add any further notes to what I picked up, because what I picked up from the card was essentially exactly what it represented. So that was, again, that's that next confidence boost. So for my situation card, I actually got the High Priestess. And the funny thing is, she's ruled by the moon, and she's a water element. And I'm a Cancerian. I am ruled by the moon, and I'm a water element. So that one kind of was like, it felt like a real warm and fuzzy, almost like a hug. Like, when someone gives you this really big embrace and you kind of feel like, oh my God, someone gets me. That's sort of the vibe I got. So the first word that I picked up, so you can sort of see I've got my notebook there. The first word I picked up was femininity. That was just bang, straight off the top. Then I got confidence again, trust in the ability, enjoy the enlightenment, light energy, realignment, build trust in yourself, bravery, psychic and mediumship gift is yours, and we believe in you. So that was the message that I channeled from the card. And then when I went back and actually just checked to see exactly what was relevant and what wasn't, the first sentence said feminine energy. So the fact that I picked up on femininity so quick was just like reassurance that as I'm progressing, I'm starting to believe a bit more in the messages that come through that I get from the card, rather than having to sort of go, oh, I'm not sure about this. I still do. Some of them I'm a bit like, oh, I haven't really seen much of you, so I'm not quite sure on where you are. But yeah, so that was quite nice. Obviously, there's a couple that you can see where I've put ticks next to that really stood out from that card, that were really quite prominent when I wrote them down. So obviously femininity was the first one. Trust in the abilities. So the High Priestess is kind of there saying, like, I'm here to support you. You're on the right path. You're doing the right things. Like, I've got your back. And then the same thing with, like, reminding you that you can... It does represent confidence to a degree. So it's almost like that, build trust in yourself. So, like, you can trust me, but you also need to trust yourself. The bravery kind of feeds into that as well. So those were the things. The reason I ticked them was because they were like literally jumping off the page at me. So it made a lot of sense. So I felt quite good with what I channeled from that. So, in this particular spread, what I just did was literally channel each card and then went back and checked them. Because I find that once I'm already in that kind of space, I'd rather just keep doing that until I'm finished, rather than trying to channel and then check and then channel and then check, because you end up becoming a little off kilter and you're a bit like, well, fuck, I don't know what's going on. So I was really quite happy with that. And that message, the last one was we believe in you. It kind of made me feel like, oh, like a big warm hug, which is really, really nice. And so secondly, which was like the advice card, I got temperance. So another really positive, strong femininity in a card that sort of came punching through, and I was really quite happy with that too. So obviously temperance is sort of ruled by Sagittarius and is part of the fire element. So obviously, a fire and a water, they can be polar opposites, but yet they can be very similar at the same time. So the first thing that kind of popped up was like mixed emotions, but overall positivity. good intentions, see the light, work in the light, use your gift. You will be successful. And then I put believe with a big exclamation mark. We trust you to deliver our messages. You know us and we look after you. Which was I felt really safe and secure in that moment when I was getting these, because I was just like, wow, I feel like this is kind of reaffirming where I sort of am with the High Priestess. So the funny thing was the first one was like mixed emotions. Because it felt like a little bit like a whoosh, mixed emotions, but overall positive. And the reason I say that is because on my Temperance card, it's got yellow flowers and purple flowers. So kind of when I talk about my association with colour is that warmer colours generally represent an overall positivity and solely that. Whereas cooler colours can have elements of positivity, but there's the message underlying in that is sometimes we just need to do a little bit more work or like look at things a little bit differently. It's not necessarily negative. It's just kind of saying there's a little bit more to the story here that you need to pay attention to. So I think when I got mixed emotions, but overall positivity, it was like, oh, wow, okay. So I was quite almost blown away by that. Like literally, as it says, mixed emotions. Like it just felt like another little confidence boost. And I was really proud of the way that I kind of just been able to channel straight in. Same thing, I haven't actually written anything further from the card. It's just all what I channeled. And so Temperance was the same. It was talking about, mixed emotions, positivity overall. It's there to kind of the same, very similar to the High Priestess in the sense that she's there to support you and kind of say you do have like this strength that I'm reaffirming for you, and you've totally got this. You just have to have a bit more self-belief or a little bit more trust in yourself. There was one sort of message that came through, which I think was actually more to do with the High Priestess, was about, sometimes just being a little bit aware of potential deception as well, which at first when I read it, I was like, ooh, I actually feel that in me, so I know that there's potentially something that I need to be aware of. But that deception doesn't necessarily mean that it's another person. Sometimes it can be your own internal stuff. But yeah, it's one of those things that will pop up when you're in the right space to reflect on it. So yeah, I felt pretty good with that card pull as well and what I channeled from that. A lot of these messages are obviously coming through as more individualized, but you can see how these messages that I'm channeling are really kind of said differently in what the card represents. So that probably expand on it a little bit more in when you're cross-checking. But yeah, I felt really quite good about being able to really pick up on that energy from Temperance as well. And the final card, which I see as the outcome card, was actually the Eight of Rods. So this one, when I looked at it, it's kind of the flowers that are on that one are like more orange, sort of bit of yellow, bit of orange, not quite into the red realm, but it overall gave me a really good sense of like strength and positivity. But, the first thing I wrote down was warmth and strength because that was the immediate thing that I felt from that card. And then the messages that came through for me that I'd written was like, use your skills, they'll continue to serve you and others for the highest good. Abundance is coming and soul purpose is growing. And so when I cross-check that card, it literally talks about the fact that it's coming up to remind you that you are progressing, there is abundance coming, you are really, really close to it. But it also talks about showing support if you're moving into something new. So whether that be like if you wanted to start a business or you're going to go into a different career or a different relationship or different dynamics or whatever it might be, it really comes through to say that, this outcome, we're here to support you and it is doable. So I did feel really connected to that card in the same sense. So again, this was the first time that I didn't really actually write anything other than what I channeled, apart from the fact that I'd written for the High Priestess and Temperance about what element they were and who they were ruled by. But yeah, it was quite a nice reading, and I didn't record it at the time because I kind of thought this is probably just a moment that I need to have on my own and just really take it in and absorb it. And so, you know, once I'd finished and I closed down my deck and I popped it away, I kind of went, all right, I'll go make a coffee. I'll just go and sit outside for a bit and just, you know, recharge. And then I thought, I came back and I thought, I actually kind of just want to document this just because it just left such a great impression. And particularly because in the last video where I was talking about confidence being a main factor, this message within itself has really reiterated and completely reaffirmed this is the extra bit of confidence you needed as well. And, you know, sometimes you can gain that self-confidence through something that you really enjoy, and then it can kind of trickle into maintaining the self-confidence in other aspects of your life. And it is really interesting because, you know, I have sort of been thinking about something like, oh, I know I can do all of this, but I'm not worried, but I just hope that I can fit into this, or is this culture going to be this, or, you know, I hope that I feel comfortable, you know. And it's those sort of things where sometimes you just need that bit of a reaffirmation about just be you, have confidence in yourself, fuck the haters, you know. Nothing, you know, there's a phrase that I've heard a lot over the last couple of days, and I've really been absorbing that quite well, which is that there's fate and free will. So, you know, you still have free will. Like if something's not quite working for you, you still have free will to make a choice on whether you want that or don't want that, or can work with this or can work with that, or can live with this or can live with that. You know, you still have free will to make choices. And I think having had that over the last couple of days, and then what I've pulled in the deck through this 3-card spread and then through my moon cycle today, has really absolutely supported that phrase, free will. Yeah, so I just wanted to kind of do a quick spiel about that, because at first I really wasn't sure about whether I wanted to record myself doing the card pull. I think I just wanted to be able to have that moment to really sit and be intuitive about it, and really really kind of just have my focus solely on that. And but it was just such a great experience with what I channeled and what the cards represent, and the fact that I was able to kind of nail them for my own situation, and got messages that I needed to hear, that I knew I needed to hear. But was, you know, it was more like getting clarification on certain things as well. So I felt really proud about that, and I thought I wouldn't mind just doing like a little video documentary to just say, this is what I got, and I'm really proud of that. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I'm going to leave that there for this one, and I will see you in the next card pull.